Have you ever had something hurt much longer than it was supposed to? And it seems like everyone else got over it and everyone else moved on and everyone else is okay, but down on the inside of me, I've got these issues. I got pregnant at 14 and I should have been okay maybe a few months after, maybe a year after, but for some reason I had these issues down on the inside of me that no one could see and no one could touch. I had these issues. Okay, so I actually think I got a superpower when I was younger. I was probably 14 years old when I tapped into this superpower, and it was being invisible. There was this way that I would carry myself when I would walk into rooms where I could just fade into the background and no one had to know I was there. I learned to be invisible, and there was some comfort in being invisible because when you have shame down on the inside of you, when anyone looks at you, it's like they can see all of your secrets. Like they can see all of your fears, and I just wanted to be invisible. I got pregnant at 13 years old. T.D. Jake's daughter, pregnant at 13, had my baby at 14 years old, and all I wanted to do was be invisible. I didn't want anyone to see how badly I was hurting and breaking on the inside. I didn't want anyone to know that I was so unsure of myself and unsure of being a parent at such a young age. I just wanted to be invisible. And then as I grew older and met with other people all around the world, I realized that I wasn't the only one who had learned to be invisible. Sometimes being a woman is like living in an aquarium. It's like you can be seen, but not touched. Things just magically happen in our world. The laundry's magically done. The project is magically completed. Everyone sees us working, but how often are we actually touched? Down on the inside, in the core of our pain and our heartbreak, because the reality is that when we have these traumatic experiences, that often we get so caught up surviving and just trying to pretend like we're okay that we never actually recover. In my book, Don't Settle for Safe, I compare it to breaking a leg, and instead of learning how to have a cast on it and walk again, we learn how to walk with a limp. That's what happened to me when I became invisible at 14. I learned how to walk with a limp. I learned to not talk about it. I learned to pretend like it never happened. I learned to survive, but I never ever learned to recover. You know what's worse than being invisible in your world is when you are invisible to yourself. When you no longer tap into that pain and that disappointment and that heartbreak because it just hurts too bad to face the rejection of our past. It hurts too bad to think about how our fathers weren't there, or our parents didn't have the perfect marriage, or I got pregnant at 14, or somebody touched me, somebody broke me. I can't bear to look at that person anymore, so I've learned to be invisible even to myself. There is a superhero by Marvel Comics, and she is the Invisible Woman. And she got her powers after she was exposed to a cosmic storm. Sometimes the storms in our life produce this invisibility, these walls that exist around our hearts and exist around our marriages and exist in the workplace and exist within our family, all of these invisible secrets. Pregnant at 14, and all I wanted to do was disappear. What I love so much about this text in Luke 8:43 is that we have a woman who has learned to be invisible. She's had a flow of blood for 12 years. And that time when a woman was having her menstrual cycle, she was untouchable. But this cycle, it lasted much longer than it was supposed to. Have you ever had something hurt much longer than it was supposed to? And it seems like everyone else got over it and everyone else moved on and everyone else is okay, but down on the inside of me, I've got these issues. I got pregnant at 14 and I should have been okay maybe a few months after, maybe a year after, but for some reason I had these issues down on the inside of me that no one could see and no one could touch. I had these issues, these issues. And I would come into rooms like this and I would smile and I would lift my hands, but I had learned to ignore the issues. When we find this woman in the text, Luke 8:43, it tells us that the woman had this flow of blood for 12 years and she had spent all of her livelihood on physicians. And I know all about those physicians.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.